Good day, folks, and welcome to the 9-4 podcast, hosted by your boy Menzi, otherwise known as the Fitlosopher. So, today we have the pleasure of being joined by an athlete extraordinaire. If you know anything about fitness in Cape Town and indeed South Africa, you should know about her, and I'm talking about the one, the only Vicky MacIntosh. Now, to read through her resume, I don't think I can do it much justice because it's that fantastic. So, Vicky is one of few South Africans that has competed in the CrossFit Games. She is also a triathlete. She is also a competitive HYROXer, one of few South Africans, and not just competing, but she's actually won. And she is going to represent South Africa in the games next week. So it's a pleasure to be chatting to Vicky. We're going to be gleaning a number of insights, including her journey in sports, her current training regimen, and her philosophy around training, strength training, or strength-esque training, especially for women and for everyone. So, Vicky, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for that introduction.
Absolutely. I think it's very, very fitting, and I was worried that I wouldn't do it justice because your resume is so colorful.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's start at the beginning. Tell us, how did your sporting career begin? Were you always this athletic, or is it something that you picked up later in life?
I was very sporty from a young age, and I think it actually came from my mum.
Okay.
So my mum, well, we were 4 siblings,
Oh, lovely.
and my mum put on a lot of weight with each child.
Oh, shucks.
And so one day she decided, I can't keep putting on more and more weight each time. So she
Okay.
started running.
Okay.
And we all fall very close in age. So she'd go out for her long runs and we'd stay at home and we'd want to just go and run with her. And she'd say to us, that's fine. I'm going around the block, and when I get back, you guys can come with me,
Yeah.
just around the block. And then as we grew older, we'd go a little bit longer and longer. And then when we were teenagers, it would actually be the time we'd spend with our mom. It's just running.
Okay.
And then that's how I got into fitness.
So you periodically trained with your mum?
Yeah,
Oh, that's very cute.
Yeah.
They say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
yeah,
So your base is in running.
yes.
When did everything else pitch up? Like, when did you start picking up all the other regimens?
In primary school, I did a lot of sports.
Okay.
And then I did hockey, tennis, swimming. And then in high school, I started doing triathlon. Because
Nice.
my mom started cycling. So then that was something she was said, come join us. So I joined in on that.
Yeah.
And then because I was doing so much sport at that time,
Yeah.
I thought like I actually want goals.
Oh,
I'm
nice.
actually going to start competing.
Oh, fantastic.
And I think from the age of 16, I've started competing quite like on an elite level.
Elite triathlon.
Yeah.
What are we talking here?
Provincials,
Sure.
Ironmans.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How many have you done?
1 Ironman.
All right.
And then provincial.
The full Ironman, or
No, not a full.
70.3?
70.3.
Lovely. Mossel Bay.
East London.
Are you from East London?
No. And Bloom.
You're from Plum.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm not surprised about the physical activity then, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not much to do in Bloom then, to
No,
be
that's-
fit.
Exactly.
Although you guys are a special breed, though, judging by the athletes that come from Bloom.
It's
My
true.
goodness.
It's true.
Okay, so competitive triathlon at 16.
Yes.
And what's next?
After that, I had just completed an Ironman when I was 20.
Okay.
And some friends of ours in the gym just approached me and said, you need to do a little bit of strength training for your triathlon. And there's a new sport coming in. It's called CrossFit.
Yeah.
And with your endurance background, I think that you should give it a go.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, strength training might just make me a little slower. I didn't know much about
Yeah.
sports
Yeah.
and the education behind it. So I thought, okay, let me give it a go. So I went to my first CrossFit class. And the first workout that I ever did were max height box jumps. So you had to jump as high as you can.
That's a good introduction.
I know.
Didn't make you do a Murph for your first class.
No. And so I kept like getting the box jumps higher and higher,
Yeah.
and eventually I tripped on one of them,
Oh,
and I
shucks.
knocked my shins open.
Yeah.
And I thought, what is this CrossFit?
Yeah.
It's the first and last class I ever do.
That didn't age well.
And then later on, about 2 weeks later, they said, where are you? Did you not enjoy it? I said, no, I did. I just cut my shins open. I don't think it's for me. And
Yeah.
so they said they have a camp on the weekend and they need to fill some teams. Am I keen?
Sheesh.
So I said, sure, no problem. I'll join in on a team camp. And since that weekend, I was hooked into CrossFit.
So you went from box jumping, getting injured, and then onto a CrossFit competition.
Yeah.
What about all the other like things in between? Because CrossFit is complicated. You know, there's like the gymnastics component, there's the weightlifting component. So when did you learn all that stuff?
So I had done that one class with the box jumps.
Yeah.
And when I committed to this comp, I said I don't know any of the weightlifting.
Yeah.
I've never done a pull-up in my life.
Yeah.
They said, well, you can quickly come in and pull before we need to go and register, and can just slowly go through just one or two of the movements of the big lifting. So I thought, okay. And then when they started showing me, I thought, okay, well, this is going to be quite complicated.
Sheesh.
And I got to the con and I just did what I could.
Mm-hmm.
And I think because of that fact that I wanted to still learn everything is how I got hooked to CrossFit.
So how long ago was this, if I may ask?
12, 13 years ago.
And how long did it take you to get to the games from your first CrossFit class?
It took 5 or 6 years.
That's quick. That is really, really quick. Because I mean, I did some reading on like the average time that it takes to like perfect weightlifting movements. Is this notion that if you don't start as a kid, it's very, very difficult to get very proficient at that.
Yeah.
And gymnastics as well.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's a very, very steep learning curve.
Yeah.
And you managed to do that in 5 years.
Yeah.
What's your trick?
I guess dedication.
Yeah.
And lots of training.
Sheesh. Did you have a coach back then?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. A very dedicated, committed coach.
Yeah.
That didn't take any excuses.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was on any training.
Yeah.
3 to 4 hours a day. 2 to 3 sessions a day.
Yeah.
But he did sit us down from the start and said, are you guys in or out?
Yeah.
And if you're in, this is what it requires.
Okay.
And so I guess, yeah.
How was your experience at the games? You were with a team, yeah?
Yes.
Who was in your team again?
Nicole Seymour.
Yeah.
Nicole Wahlberg now.
Yes.
Matthew Bauman.
Heard of him, yeah.
And Richard Walbold.
Yes. Good old Rich.
Yes.
It's a powerful team.
Very powerful.
How was your experience at the games?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. It's within those 5 years just trying to get there.
Yeah.
Every year we went to regionals.
Yeah.
And we gave it our all. And every year we just fell short.
Yeah.
So when we did make it, it was almost all those years of hard work. It was just incredible.
Dream come true.
Exactly. It was like a dream come true.
So, I've been following CrossFit for quite a while here, and my, I wouldn't call it a concern, observation is a lack of underrepresentation of athletes from Africa/South Africa. I mean, we had you guys in 2018, and then I think there have been a few individuals as well, and then we had the team last year with the twins, the Finkel ladies. But what's missing? You know, why don't we have more athletes at the games in your assessment? Is it that, you know, we're slightly behind the rest of the world? Because you see some of our athletes on an individual capacity, they're strong.
They are. We do have talented. We have a lot of talented athletes. I think it's the fact that a lot of our athletes still need to work full-time jobs. So they don't have the capacity to train as
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Whereas the European athletes, the American athletes,
Yeah.
that is their career.
Mm.
So they wake up, they go and train all day.
Yeah.
They have time to improve.
Yeah.
They have a lot of sponsorships
Yeah.
backing them. So they're able to go to camps.
Yeah.
They're getting a lot of experience.
Yeah.
They're getting funding
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point, and I guess something that we miss in discussing the relative competitiveness of different countries. The fact that a lot of South African sports, or a lot of South African sports people, don't have the privilege of having sports as their only source of income and all the structures around them. Whereas in America, I mean, you have the guys that was that club that wins with the gym, is it Mayhem?
Yes.
Yeah, and the
Yes.
structures around that just allows athletes to do what they are best at.
Exactly.
Whereas you're waking up, doing your thing at like 6 o'clock, and then you have to be on traffic to work 8 hours and then back to gym again.
That's it.
And
Yeah.
your transition to HYROX, tell us about that. So you went from CrossFit. When did you get into HYROX?
Last year only.
Last year.
Last year.
Able. Yeah.
I had some of my European clients telling me about HYROX about 2 years ago. And I think they were telling me because they know how much I love running.
Yeah.
They were saying there's this new sport.
Yeah.
You should maybe give it a go. It's
Yeah.
obviously not in South Africa, but there's lots of running. You
Yeah.
enjoy it. And I thought, okay. But I am like still competing in CrossFit, so I didn't
Yeah.
really like pay attention to it.
Yeah.
I did compete at semi-finals CrossFit last year, this time.
Oh, nice.
And when I had finished,
Yeah.
the year before last, I took 2 years off. Just after COVID. I think I was a little bit burnt out, so I just needed like a few seasons off.
Were you doing too many home workouts during COVID?
Yes.
Balcony marathons.
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
So when I did come back,
Yeah.
there was just such a big gap
Yeah.
in the field of where I was compared to where the athletes had been.
Yeah.
And I thought, let me just see what this HYROX thing is. My passion for CrossFit after competing wasn't really there
Yeah.
afterwards. So I thought, okay, let me just either take another season off or just look into this HYROX thing.
Yeah.
And I was going to be traveling to Europe for 2 months. And yeah, I met my husband last year this time.
Oh, amazing.
And so I said to him,
Yeah.
let's start training for this.
Is that what brought you guys together?
No.
HYROX.
No, it isn't.
That would be quite the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I competed in May, CrossFit.
Yeah.
June, I started training for HYROX already.
Wow.
And then I had trained about 9 weeks. Went to Europe.
And you won.
And I won.
Bloody
I won
hell.
the Malmo race.
My goodness.
But even when I was there at
Yeah.
the Malmo race, I thought this is just an experience. I'm just doing this for fun.
Yeah.
I don't know what to expect. All I know there's lots of running,
And you like that?
and I like that. So I'm just gonna have fun.
Yeah.
So it was, yeah, I loved it so much.
And when did you begin to lean into this sport? Decide that, okay, I'm going to pursue this on a more regular and professional basis?
I guess when I did win that race,
Yeah.
I thought, let me actually give it a go
Yeah.
in this sport.
For our audience that is not particularly familiar with what HYROX is, / folks that have been hiding under a rock, can you please break it down as simply as possible? What does it constitute to begin with?
So it's one timed fitness race.
Yeah.
It consists of 8 1-kilometer runs. And in between those 1-kilometer runs is a functional station. There are 8 different functional stations. Yeah.
And what would you say the difference is between HYROX and CrossFit? Because often I find people usually mistake the two or they conflate them.
Yeah.
But there is a distinct difference. So as the pro, what would you say, and a pro in both sports as well, yeah. What would you say the difference is between the two sports?
CrossFit, I would say, is more advanced. On a level where it's more skill-based. With the whole Olympic lifting, the gymnastics. HYROX, there's a lot more simpler movements. Almost anyone can do it.
Yeah.
And CrossFit, they try to cover the 11 components of fitness. HYROX, like I said, is just a big component of running. And then the easier stations that you can complete. And then in a HYROX race is just done one time.
Yeah.
CrossFit, you can have a competition with 1 to 3 days, consisting of several workouts throughout the 3 days. So it does demand the body of a lot.
Yeah.
In HYROX, for example, there's different age categories, which like anyone can like take part.
Yeah.
I saw some grannies and grandpas taking part
there we
in
go.
the
Life goals.
which is so cool.
Yeah.
I feel CrossFit is almost limited to a certain age bracket.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that have hit the age of 40 and then they say CrossFit's too like hectic on their joints.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that's pretty much the difference.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. So accessibility, HYROX has a lower barrier to entry. So people that aren't as seasoned in sports can do it. It's also scalable and predictable. So you have a set number of exercises that you know prior to the race. So you can prepare better for that. Predictability, you know what you're going to do, and then I guess you can measure yourself against your performance over time. Whereas CrossFit, it's you wake up and Dave Castro decides that okay, you're gonna do snatches, a deadlift, and like a 20-kilometer cycle.
Yeah.
So you're going to the World Champs next week.
Yes.
Talk us through your training. How has that looked like as you sort of peak for that?
It has been hard.
Oh, don't expect anything different. Yeah. How much are you running for a start, and how fast as well? You guys have to listen to how fast she runs because she's got gas. Yeah, she's got gas. Yeah.
My training's been periodized, obviously. I've had periods where I've gone through some strength cycling, and towards now the last few weeks been a little bit backed off on the strength.
Yeah.
More HYROX movement focus. I did a lot of zone 2 running about 5 months ago up until about 2 months ago.
Pace.
And now it's a little bit more threshold, quicker paces.
But what's the pace? What pace is your zone 2 running, Vicky?
So this is an interesting one.
Yeah.
When I started training for this, Scott, my coach, was very knowledgeable for training. I had to go for VO2 max testing to get my amounts on my paces, my heart rate, all of that.
Yeah.
And according to my results, I could then get a result for my VO2 max. And so he said, I need to start zone 2 running, and I was like, okay, what is this going to mean?
Yeah, where is
so my
zone
2 pace started on, I think it was like 6 minutes 38 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
And it was literally like walking, fast-paced walking.
Was that frustrating for you?
It was so frustrating because I'd have to do this for 10 to 12 kilometers.
Yeah.
And I thought, I said to him, I can't jog this pace. I can actually just fast walk it.
Yeah.
And how am I going to get faster by doing this?
Yeah.
And I gave it some time.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, I trust him.
Yeah.
I know, like, there's science behind this.
Yeah.
And fast forward a couple of months
Yeah.
ahead, my zone 2
cruising.
pace now
Yeah.
is about 4:40.
That's a huge improvement.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an interesting one. The whole discipline of restraint. I imagine for an athlete like you, I mean, I find it with myself, I'm nowhere near the athlete that you are, but having the discipline to actually do less than you feel like doing often feels a lot harder than pushing yourself to do more.
Yes.
Like you're always like chomping at the bit to just push it a little bit more. But when the program says stick to the slower pace, stick to the slower
Just
pace.
stick to it, exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you're doing your running, all right. What other components are included in your progression towards Worlds next week?
So I have a lot of hybrid sessions as well.
Yeah.
Where 2 days of the week in the morning is strength focused, only strength movements.
Yeah.
Deadlifts, back squats,
So you deadlift.
pull-ups. Yes.
Can I ask you give us your big three: squat, bench. You bench.
Not really.
Okay. Squat, snatch, clean, and deadlift. What are we looking at, Vicky MacIntosh?
So I'm not a very strong athlete. So when I was competing in CrossFit,
Yeah.
I was one of the more endurance focused athletes.
Okay.
My strength wasn't that great. It was always my core.
Okay.
But I'll tell you my numbers.
Please.
My 1 rep max deadlift was 132.
That's good.
Is
Yeah.
132.
Yeah.
My back squat,
Yeah.
115.
That's good.
My bench press, I don't.
Yeah. You don't bench.
No, not really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fair. I mean,
And
it is
then weighted pull-ups now I was doing 16 kg.
weighted pull-ups.
Weighted
For how
pull-up.
many reps?
And it was between 4 to 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Can't even pull my weight up. Let alone my socks.
Yeah.
Okay. And then
Yeah.
what are we snatching?
Snatch, also not on this very strong side, but
Yeah.
my 1 rep max is 65, which I actually
That's fantastic.
did at the games.
Oh,
so
well
it was
done.
a very cool
Yeah.
moment.
Moment
where I
of
fully
reckoning.
my snatch.
And the clean? What are we looking at?
Clean 89.
Okay.
Clean and jerk.
Those are great numbers.
Thank you.
Those are-
Many
those are-
years ago, though, those weightlifting moves.
I mean, they're your numbers. No one can ever take that away from you.
Yeah.
And are you still doing that type of training in the build-up to champs next week, or have you kind of put that to the side and focused more on strength endurance kind of work?
I have been doing my strength up until 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
The last 2 weeks have been a little bit lighter. I'm still doing them,
Yeah.
but a lot lighter, 65%, 70%
Yeah.
movements.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then leaning more towards heavy sled pushes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Those crushed us yesterday.
Yeah.
The sled pushes, the sled pulls, and the burpee broad jumps.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. How do you even get better at burpee broad jumps? I feel like that's one of those things where you reconcile with the fact that you're gonna suffer.
Yeah.
And you just suffer through
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I actually can't answer that question because
Yeah.
burpees is one of my favorite movements
Oh,
of
my
all
goodness.
time. I actually love burpees.
Vicky, you love burpees.
I love burpees.
Some would say you don't like nice things in life if you like burpees.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
I think you're the only person that loves burpees. What is there to know about
I
burpees?
don't know.
My goodness. I wish I had your temperament.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me. Sorry. You didn't say?
The one movement that is hard for me, which I never thought it would be, are thigh miscarriages.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Why is that the case?
I have no idea.
Is your husband carrying your groceries?
Yes, he has been.
I think we need to put the chivalry aside and
Yeah.
just let Vicky come with the groceries. Oh, man. And your diet, what is that looking like going into the race?
My nutrition coach, I do have a nutrition coach.
Lovely.
It's not something I've always had.
Is it Giovanni's?
No.
It's not Giovanni's. All right.
It's Craig Uria. It's
Okay.
been helping me with my nutrition.
Yeah.
I have always been an athlete that's eaten clean.
Okay.
Trying to look into how to eat as an athlete. But I think now trying to give it my all with HYROX.
Yeah.
I've tried to dial everything in.
Okay.
And in the past, being a smaller athlete and being so busy with my day, I never ate enough.
Yeah.
So you'll often hear this with females, that females tend to eat a little. But as a female athlete, you don't actually know how much to actually eat. So I was never eating enough. And so now my nutrition is dialed in, eating a lot more than I even thought.
Oh, boy.
And sometimes it's hard because I have to get the macros in.
Are you having a bit of an identity crisis with your food? Just
No.
like, oh, shucks. I need to chow all of this.
So yeah, it is. It's hard, but it's incredible to actually see what food can do for an athlete.
Yeah. Take us through a day in the life of your food consumption. So you wake up, what's the first thing that you have?
First thing I have is a glass of water with some of my supplements.
Okay. So like
alkaline powder, D-ribose, some of my vitamin C, omegas.
All right.
Then coffee.
All right.
Love good coffee.
Coffee. How long after you've woken up?
Do I have my coffee?
Yeah.
10 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Afterwards.
And then I make smoothie because I get to work straight away.
Okay.
Very early in the morning as well. So I coach for about 3 to 4 hours sometimes. So I try to get that smoothie in because if I'm not eating early enough, I tend to start fading throughout the morning.
Yeah.
And then I start like, don't have energy.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
That's a smoothie.
Yeah.
As soon as I'm done coaching, I'll have another coffee, go home, have my proper breakfast.
So it's at like 1 o'clock?
No, so this is about 10:30.
All right.
Have my breakfast.
Yeah.
And then I get straight to my first session.
Yeah.
And then it's a recovery drink after that, followed by a bed lunch. And then if I have a second session, I'll have a pre-workout snack, which is also quite a big one.
Yeah.
And then after my second session, another meal, post-training meal. And then, big dinner as well.
So how many calories are we looking at per day?
2,200.
Okay. That's a reasonable amount.
2,500, yeah.
Yeah. Sheesh.
Lots of carbs.
Lots of carbs.
Yeah.
And how much protein?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure it does make up a healthy portion of your diet, though.
Yeah.
Ah, fantastic.
Yeah.
And for Worlds, how are you feeling about that?
Good.
Yeah.
Very excited.
You're bringing back the gold.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. For sure.
Who do you? I love the spirit. South Africans are winners. Yeah.
Yeah.
South Africans are winners. So you know we trust in you. And but tell me, who do you reckon is your biggest competition going into Worlds?
I don't actually know the lineup.
Okay. Purposefully. Do you choose to?
No, I think just because I'm so new to the sport.
Yeah.
So HYROX has brought out a new division recently called the Elite 15.
Oh.
So the Elite 15 are the top 15 athletes in the world, and they are brought into the lineup according to their time.
Yeah.
And throughout the season, they have majors, which they are then invited to.
Yeah.
So I do know all the Elite 15 female athletes.
Yeah.
But because I was very late in the qualifying process, I haven't made the Elite 15 lineup. So I'm in the pro division, which is very different.
Yeah.
But I'm already looking at the Elite 15 lineup.
They better be careful.
Yeah.
They better be careful. So you're gonna crush it at the pro division, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, I have no doubt.
But
I've got no doubt about that. And HYROX Cape Town, that's yours.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
home ground advantage.
Yes, yes,
Yeah. No, that's going to be
Yeah.
quite an exciting one.
Yeah.
And it does seem as though, the sport is gaining a lot of traction.
a lot,
Yeah.
a lot.
Have you been to any of the Uniteds yet? The open gym sessions across the country.
I haven't yet. I
Yeah.
haven't yet. Yeah, I've been very busy with my training.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yes,
Yeah.
still going to be attending.
No, I imagine. I mean, with your regimen, I mean, that's you don't have that much space, but it's fascinating to see how many people are actually signing up to the sport despite it being relatively new.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've been to United at Bound
Okay.
with Ruan
Yeah.
and Cameron, who are absolutely fantastic, and I mean, we had 30 plus people there.
Yeah.
There are guys up in Joburg as well. I mean, Joburg, it's really taken off, which is quite surprising because Cape Town's supposed to be the fitness capital
Yeah.
of South Africa. But yeah, the Joburgers are working, hey?
Going
And
for it, yeah.
yeah, even down here by Cape CrossFit, I mean, the guys are really taking to the sport, and it's quite encouraging. Also
Yes.
seeing more women getting into the sport as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
So I guess that kind of segments to my next question, strength training and being a woman in strength training. As discussed earlier, there tends to be quite a bit of stigma around strength training and women. Granted, that's beginning to fade, but from an observer's perspective, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done in that domain. So how do you feel that strength training, has benefited you as a woman, and I guess its importance as a woman?
Like I said, I was always an endurance athlete.
Yeah.
And when I did start my strength training, meaning CrossFit,
Yeah.
it actually improved my endurance
Yeah.
sport so much. I think women are starting to realize, even outside of sport,
Yeah.
that strength training benefits, the everyday mom, as you're getting older,
Yeah.
women that are strength training for like the last 5 years are feeling so much stronger
Yeah.
with everyday life activities. There has been a big shift with women. I've seen it. But there are still women that are very skeptical. But it's cool to be out there and
Yeah.
encourage the women.
Yeah.
And I think women are quite open to.
Yeah.
I think they have. The only thing that is very limited is the just that mindset of building muscle. I guess when you
Yeah.
strength train.
Yeah.
It's not always the case.
Yeah.
It's just feeling no power in your endurance
Yeah.
sports.
Yeah. There's, sorry to interrupt you, Vicky.
No.
There's this whole phenomenon of the muscle mummy. Have you come across that
Yes.
on the socials, which is kind of it's making its rounds, which seems to be shifting the discourse, but again, there does appear to be like a bit of apprehension in that respect.
Yeah. So I think a lot of women look at the high-end CrossFit athletes that are quite muscular.
Yeah.
And they say, I don't want to do CrossFit because I don't want to build muscle like that. But it's interesting because what I've always told my members and my friends is that those women are lifting every single day, hours on end, very heavy weights.
Yeah.
So you won't be doing that. You'll be lifting for half an hour a day, every second day.
Yeah.
So you won't be building that muscle.
Yeah.
And then they slowly understand and realize. And so then they start getting into it and they actually enjoy it.
Absolutely.
feeling stronger.
Yeah.
By lifting not that much weight.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been exciting to see that shift in women.
Yeah. Absolutely. There's this talk about being toned that often gets thrown around in fitness circles, and I came across a quote, where it was from, but they were like, this look that women associate with being toned is the product of some lifting and good dietary choices, as opposed to, doing a whole lot of cardio. Not to say that cardio is bad, but doing cardio only and not eating, as has been the case in the past.
Yeah.
It's a interesting phenomenon. And injuries, how do you deal with those?
I've been very lucky. I'm not a very injury-prone athlete. I think in my years of CrossFit, I had only one serious injury. Yeah. And that was just from lifting. Yeah. It was very short, quick. Yeah. Recovered very well. Yeah. Haven't been injured at all. Yeah. Even now with my HYROX, the amount of running I've been doing, haven't been injured. Oh. But last week, Tuesday, I was walking across the road I rolled my ankle.
Just walking across the road?
Just walking across the road.
Oh, goodness.
So that is why my ankle is strapped up right now.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's been a very quick recovery.
Such a twist-off fate. So you do all this hardcore physical activity, and then you injure yourself walking across the road.
Yeah.
But what do you think has prevented you from being, or rather enabled you to be so injury-free? Does it have to do with your recovery protocols and things like that?
Yes, I think I listen to my body a lot. Yeah. And if I feel any niggles, I actually make an effort to do my stretching, my mobility. A lot of people have that stigma. Let me just push through. It's just pain, no gain. Yeah. I've just always listened to my niggles. Recovered. If I need a recovery day, I'll take that recovery day. Yeah. And then I do a lot of accessory work
alongside your HYROX training.
Yes.
Okay.
To just get all the sternal muscles strong. Because when you are doing so much running, you're obviously using a lot of the big muscle groups. When you get tired in your running, those small muscles end up starting. They'll take over. Yeah. And if they're not strong, you are asking for injury. Yeah.
So do your accessory work. Yes. What does that look like? Are you doing like things like tib raise? Because those can be quite quirky at times, like tib raises and those like...
That's it. Like, all that boring stuff.
That's static sort of box jump and...
calf raises. Yeah. Glute walks.
Yeah. You're doing that too?
All of those.
Oh, shucks. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's the price that you have to pay for being an elite athlete, having to do stuff that is quite laborious and not just the fun, fast runs and heavy lifting and, massive sled pushes and sled pulls. Yeah. Fantastic. So, Vix, as part of our sort of closing tradition when it comes to conversing with athletes, we like to ask them to give us a list of, we'll make it 10 for you because you're so good, 10 exercises that you think are necessary to make a well-rounded sporting regimen.
Okay.
All right, 10. They can include running.
Okay.
10. All right. So what's your first one?
Probably running.
Running. Okay.
Deadlift.
Oh, there we go.
Planking.
Planking.
Lots of planking.
Dynamic, static.
Dynamic.
Okay.
Yeah. Pull-ups.
Okay.
Push-ups.
Okay.
Squatting.
Yeah. No bicep curls.
No. No.
Tricep pull downs.
No.
Oh, shrugs.
No.
Vicky.
Twisting, so things like
No.
lateral tosses, maybe Russian twist,
Okay.
any kind of twisting of the pull,
Yeah. Still got 3 more.
glute bridges.
Glute bridges.
Yes,
Okay. Why glute bridges?
glute bridges.
Yeah. We got squats and deadlifts in there.
Yeah,
Okay. Glute bridges. Okay. 2 more.
it's actually interesting.
Yeah.
I find a lot of people that can squat heavy,
Yeah.
you put them on the floor to
Yeah.
do some glute bridges,
They can't glute
and they
bridge.
cannot do that.
Yeah. Why is that?
Very interesting. Maybe something with form, or
Yeah.
they're just not engaging their glutes properly,
Yeah.
overcompensating your legs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. I have not done a glute bridge in a very long time. Although I do squat often.
Yeah.
Don't ask me
Try
to do.
it.
Don't ask me to do a glute bridge. Don't ask me to
Yeah.
do a glute bridge. Nah. And actually, to be fair, I should try.
Yeah.
But you still got 2 more exercises, Vicky. Found a friend.
My 10th one would
Yeah.
be burpees. Burpees.
Oh boy. Okay.
Toes to bar.
Toes to bar.
Toes to bar.
Oh my. Spoken like a proper functional
to
fitness
bar.
athlete. Toes to bar.
Yes.
Those are brutal.
It's a very functional movement
Yeah.
with, lots
are-
of different
Yeah.
requirements, full body. Yeah.
Yeah. Bloody hell.
Toes to bar.
All right.
Handling, gripping,
Yeah.
core.
Sheesh. So we had Seb Prentice. I don't know if you've ever come across him, but he's like,
Yes.
he's a serious athlete.
Yes.
Your list of exercises is much more difficult than his.
Is it?
Yeah, toes to bars
Toes to bar.
and glute bridges as well.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that sounds like a good regimen. So last thing, your prep for Worlds. What does your build-up week look like?
So tomorrow I'm
Yeah.
actually doing a HYROX, some up to 75% of the actual race.
Yeah,
So I'll be doing the race, 75% of it.
yeah.
And then next week is a taper week.
Okay, yeah.
Looking very forward to it.
It's lovely, yeah.
Yeah. So I've been working like the last, I'd probably say 6 weeks,
Yeah.
very hard.
Yeah,
Haven't missed a day.
sure.
Double sessions,
Every day.
not every day.
Okay.
Twice a week,
Yeah,
3 times.
yeah,
Yeah. So next week is a taper week.
yeah,
Just means volume is a little bit less.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you drink?
No, not a.
Absolutely not.
And I've never.
Oh, wow.
I've had maybe 5 drinks in my life.
Yeah.
Never been drunk.
Never been tempted to.
No.
Okay.
I think because I started competing at such a young age.
Yeah.
It was my friends used to go out and I'd see how it would hit them.
Yeah.
And I did right in the beginning, go out one weekend with my friends, had like 1 or 2 drinks.
Yeah.
And that following week, when I had to go back to training,
Yeah.
I just could not train.
Oh, sure.
From like half a cider,
Yeah.
and I thought, no, this is not for me.
Yeah.
And it's just not my thing.
And is that something that you're planning to maintain throughout
Yeah,
your life?
yeah.
Okay.
And when I moved to Cape Town, people were saying, well, you're going to start drinking a lot of
the
wine.
wine farms, eh? Sure.
But I haven't really gotten into it.
Okay.
Yeah,
And you've never been tempted.
no, not really.
Where do you find time for family and hobbies, I guess personal development outside of sport, given all the stuff that you're doing?
Sunday is family day.
Okay.
And I guess my hobbies are training.
Okay.
So, I spend a lot of time with my dogs in the weekends.
Yeah.
My time is limited to
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
And it's been tough sometimes. But I've just made sure that Sundays, family days, just that one day, just do something that you love. You can reset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're looking forward to that little respite after Worlds before you peak for South Africa.
Yes.
Are you doing any races in between the two?
I might.
Yeah.
I might. So I'd like to go and race to try and get to a major. They haven't released the major schedule yet. But as soon as they do, I'm going to try to get to one.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Vix, I think we'll leave it there. Thank you very much for your time and your insights. We are particularly looking forward to see how you do at Worlds. We've got no doubt, seeing as South Africans are winners, we've got no doubt that you are going to be a winner. And we're looking forward to seeing you do your thing at the home turf, HYROX Cape Town, and Joburg as well. You're doing both?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic.
I'm going to be doing Joburg in a doubles.
Oh, lovely. There we go.
Yeah.
Double trouble.
Yes.
So, thank you very much, Vicky.
Thank you,
and
Vicky.
all the best.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks so much.